Where does the time go, folks? It's already October, and it's time again for yet another episode of NFM's Top Producer Series. And this month, we travel 860 miles south to the Big Guava, better known as Tampa Bay, to talk with the unbelievably great Jane Floyd. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jan.
So, Jane, since you've been with NFM, you have closed close to $470 million in volume for close to 1,690 units. How does that make you feel?
Good. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's by far the best, and you lead the ranks in everybody at NFM. So let me ask you a question. What separates you from the most people at NFM is really your energy and your enthusiasm. Can you kind of share where you find that?
Sure. So for me, I get my energy from, I have a morning routine, Jan. I start out every single day. I have my quiet time. I use this little 5-minute journal, which isn't extensive, but I go through gratitude. I go through prayer. I write down the top 3 things that I see happening today. And then it's kind of cool. At the end of the day, you write down the top 3 things that happened. And then really one of the most important things is what could I have done differently that day? So that starts my day. And then, as you know, I'm a crazy workout person. For me, that gives me more energy than anything. Even when I don't feel like it, I work out every single day, Jan.
So if I could ask you one question, what would you share as your 5 must-dos to be a successful loan officer? What would you tell me they are?
Number 1 would be my calendar. I am I'm addicted to my calendar. I don't have much wasted space. Scheduled prospecting time is absolutely critical. I pour myself into my people. And then probably one of the most important things, whether you are a new agent, a new loan officer, or a seasoned loan officer, I am diligent with follow-up. I see that with my own loan officers and getting started in myself from all the mistakes I've made, the follow-up, everybody gets busy and then they don't follow up. And then another thing, which goes into my morning routine, but it doesn't stop there, Jan, is always learning and growing. I am always, if I'm not watching a podcast, I'm calling Sean Hires to learn something about a particular thing. I'm always reaching out, really trying to educate myself. And then also just leadership, how to help my agents, right? I keep mentioning agents, Jan, because for me, through my 28-year career, I've always been, give or take, 75% real estate agent heavy. And I believe to be a successful loan officer, you have to be in relationship with agents.
I love it. And, interestingly enough, you talked about constantly prospecting. You're a 28-year veteran in the mortgage business, yet you are still doing grassroots movement things like prospecting and keeping it green and doing the stuff that you did from the day that you walked in here. What is your stance on refinance, and how do you tell a new person this is what you have to do to prospect and to never give in to kind of the luxury of a hot refinance market?
Okay, so through this refi craze and through the last, I've actually picked up agents, Jan, over the past 30 days because their loan officers that they're in relationship with are ignoring them. So obviously I have a big database and I want to refi my clients. And so I kind of have a strategy on how I handled that when I was at capacity. But you just cannot, if you can, and you can make a ton of money, but you're not going to have any business when this goes away at the end of the day. So you have to have that consistent prospecting time.
I love it. And how much time a day do you set aside for prospecting?
I'm averaging, Jan, about 4.5 hours a day in just pure prospecting, whether that's phone calls, face-to-faces with agents, events. I do a lot of events, Jan. I do a lot of lunch and learns. I do happy hours. I do classes. So combination of all of that, probably at least 4.5 hours a day.
Last question I'm going to ask you, Jane, is how does someone get their head around, where do they begin to become a Jane Floyd?
Okay, so it's all about the agents, right? If I was a brand new agent, and Jan, I still do this sometimes when I just want to get more business, you got to go to open houses. You got to work Saturdays and Sundays. You got to meet new agents. You got to start that list. You got to make the phone calls. Then it's that extreme follow-up on whatever you told them that you were going to do. You got to do it. You got to deliver. Then you leverage every person on that deal, and it just snowballs. And then you have to be able to build a team. But until you can do that, when you're still just averaging, 4 to 5 loans a month, till you can get to about that 6 loans a month for 3 months, and then you can get help. It's all about your calendar. You got to go back. You got to say, okay, I got to put all these files together because I am the assistant. I am the loan partner right now. So for me, I get a lot of my quality prospecting time done in the mornings, the calls. So that's what I teach them. Get that done in the morning, because if you get those couple of hours in, then you block for interruptions. You block for returning phone calls. You set the clear expectations with your client when you're going to get back to them, and then you block the time for working on your files until you can build a team like I have. I have an amazing team. I would never, ever, ever be able to have the 98% raving fan clients that we have if it weren't for that team. So it's just starting at the beginning. I did it. Anybody, if I can do it, Jan, anybody can do it.
Jane, you're amazing. We can't thank you enough here at Corporate. When you joined in 2013, NFM was doing $700 million that year. When we fast forward to today, we're going to be doing over $3 billion. And in large part, it's because of the revolution that you created when you joined the NFM family in 2013. So thank you for being, our inspiration at NFM and leading us away into the purchase world. You are truly amazing.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I love it here.
All right, everybody. That wraps up another edition of NFM's Top Producers. We thank Jane Floyd from Tampa Bay. Thanks for watching.